Hi, I'm Glenn Tinley with Winnipeg Men, Winnipeg Women magazine, and I am here for the July 2011 update with our Mayor Sam Katz.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Nice to see you again.
Always a pleasure.
We are here. It is the day after the final council session for the summer. So you are on, all of council and is on a summer break.
As you can see, I'm still here.
You are still here working. I don't know. I didn't see any other councillors. Usually they're wandering around. But so it's sort of the official summer break. So let's talk a little bit about some of the stuff that was gone through yesterday as the final session and maybe look forward a little bit to fall. First off, the police station, the downtown new police station. I've seen some reports and actually was going back and forth on Twitter yesterday about a $28 million reported sort of overrun on the budget or the estimates, and so to explain that a little bit so that people understand: is is somebody under budgeting? Are we missing something, or is it just this is just the way things happen?
Happy to do that because there's a very strong misconception about that whole situation, and I don't believe it was reported accurately, and we certainly tried to correct it. When we started dealing with the new police station, we had a council seminar. And they came in and gave us numbers, and they were very clear for every member of council, and they were there, except for the new councillors. It was a Class D estimate.
So there's Class A, B, C,
Remember
D.
back in school, you used to get A, B, C, you know where D fell? Same type of situation. With Class D estimates, you know that's usually within the 30% range. Okay. Unfortunately, the number that went out there, but not the part that it was a Class D add-on 30%.
Right.
And that's what should have been done. Because how can you have real numbers when, I got some people calling me, well, if you put things out to tender and you got prices and they're coming in higher now, these people should be responsible.
Right.
We never had the drawings to ever put anything out to tender. Okay, this was basically the guesstimate based on intelligence, etc. And you don't have real numbers till you have the architect's drawings, the engineers, the mechanical, the electrical. And we tried making sure everybody was cognizant of that. So in theory, we knew what we were dealing with all along. But unfortunately, the way it was presented wasn't accurate. And so what I said from now on, if we ever have to deal with a Class D estimate again, I'm going to automatically put that 30% in there. So at least you're much more realistic. And I think that would make a lot of sense.
So basically, you go out and you ask for some numbers based on a rough estimate and no actual drawings or anything to say, so that you can get an idea of where you're going to be, knowing that
they're guesstimates.
Yeah.
But you don't know anything real until you actually get in there and do your stuff. And there's always this debate before you start this process: should you be spending all the fees and getting architectural drawings, getting full electrical, mechanical, etc., which, as you know, is a large part of the overall cost. Yeah. So until you're moving forward, you don't normally do that thorough stuff. But here's the other part that people didn't quite understand. We also have a GMP, a guaranteed maximum price. Okay. So this is the limit. Anything over, taxpayers are not on the hook.
Right, okay.
And that doesn't happen very often at City Hall, getting a guaranteed maximum price.
Okay.
Just so you know that.
So then now the drawings are in, and that's where this overage kind of came from?
Everything has been done. Everything's been tendered. We got the numbers. These are the real numbers. And we got the GMP. Price. And the other thing, some people, which is really strange, were trying to compare the new facility to the existing. Well, you can't. First of all, we're taking several departments which are spread in other parts of the city, putting them all in one.
Right.
Okay? We're going to trying to compare that to what's existing. With the existing one, we had basically the cladding was falling off. I mean, we had to protect citizens by putting up hoarding, et cetera, because concrete could be falling, and that's what they're looking to replace.
Oh, okay.
And that price started here, and then it went to there, and then it went to there. God knows where it might have ended up. So, trying to compare that to a brand new facility with all the new amenities makes no sense whatsoever. And all the departments under one roof with efficiencies and an extremely strong police presence in the downtown as well.
Right. Okay, what do you do with all the departments that then come in? Obviously, that leaves, is that moving from other buildings, other offices?
Yeah, some of those rented space will be saving money right
Right,
now to be
okay.
going into there, correct.
Okay, so not only maybe some operating efficiencies, but some cost savings because you can move people out of.
No question there's
leased
cost
space.
savings. And let me give you an analogy so you really grasp what went on. Just recently, within the last couple of years, we built a new police station, Transcona St.
Right.
Boniface. It's the East Station. Cost us $379 per square foot. Okay?
Okay.
This new facility, $255 per square foot. How we doing?
Why the difference?
We're saving money because we're doing, but
Oh,
yet.
your
and-
net cost.
Yeah, and
Right.
yet when you look, everybody thought what we did out there was terrific. Now we're saving 1/3 of the money compared to what we spent there. This is a great deal, a solid investment, and it's a long-term investment, and it has room for expansion. And we own an office tower, which we can sell, I'll bet you, a range, $20-30 million as well.
Yeah, I remember talking to somebody, and we'll get this. We get off track once in a while about a real estate that the city actually owns as assets is actually very substantial.
Yes, and keep in mind, you can choose to monetize that whenever you want.
Right. So
And there's many ways to monetize.
yeah, so it's I mean, when you don't necessarily want to start selling things off, although I'm sure people will come back and say, well, why don't you sell all that, lease it back, take that money, use it towards budgeting and things like that. But I mean, those are decisions that are made at higher levels. But
Yeah, but if your asset is growing in value and it makes more sense to get the cash out to do other things which the city should be doing, then there's an argument.
Yeah.
You certainly don't sell it when it's a low. You sell it, if you're going to sell it, when it's at a high.
right. So, but the fact being that the city's sitting on some pretty good assets.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
With good tenants.
Yeah. Yeah. Class A tenants.
I think
That's what they're called. Okay, so let's talk about something. Let's shift from that. Was the old Canada Post building, police station. We're going to go a couple blocks over. Unofficially, sort of quietly announced or spoken about a week or so ago that the convention center looks like it's going to move ahead with an expansion, or that they're undertaking to get some idea. And I don't want to say they're going to come up with Class D estimates, but just where is that? I know that's something that's been sort of on your radar for quite some time.
Well, not only what has been on the radar, but the mayor and council were extremely proactive when a few years ago we created the accommodation tax, and part of that accommodation tax was specifically to raise dollars for the expansion of the convention center. So we've been ready, willing, and able for quite a while now, and just been waiting for the other levels of government. It appears now that the other levels of government are basically, have found their way to make this happen, and we're just waiting. So yeah, it's extremely close to, I think, what you would call an official announcement, although there's nothing at this stage of the game. But the city's been on board for a long time now.
Do you know?
We kind of led this charge.
Well, I know. I was going to say we've talked about this. If I went back a few episodes, we've talked about this exact thing. The entertainment tax or the hotel visitor accommodation tax. What is that? Do you know? Do you have a number on about what that raises every year?
Well, but it goes to three categories. Number one, economic development. Winnipeg gets a portion of it, and that's set aside for a fund for enticing special events and conventions here. Okay, that's number one, and they've been doing a great job with that. The other side of it, we also use some of that money to fund them as well, and we also use money from there to fund the convention center because we do give them annual grants, plus the accommodation tax goes towards a pot that we were building up for the expansion of the convention center. And a lot of it depends on, it's tied into what the occupancy rate and how many people are staying in hotels, but it's significant money, I can tell you.
It's interesting that I look, say take a 40,000 foot view of what's happening right now in the city. You got the police station aside, the convention center expansion, Human Rights Museum, the NHL coming back, some downtown development going on, housing, but things like the convention center expanding, the NHL being returned with the development that's going on around it. We're sort of in this and I mentioned this the other day because I do this similar type of thing with the Premier, that the city of, I've always said the city seems to have this inferiority complex, and we seem to be getting past it, because now we've got all this stuff going on, but what this is doing is now it's setting us up. It's like you look out 20 years, and people are going to look back and say, what was the catalyst? And it's almost like right about now, or, you know, this time, within the next couple of years, this city's really on a lot of radars.
You know, I'm sure you've heard the saying goes, the only obstacles that are in your way are the ones you put there.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what you talk about, that inferiority stuff. It's there, it still exists, but I can tell you, with everything that you just mentioned, and there's a lot more.
Yeah.
Okay, the new football stadium, a new apartment coming up
Right.
in our downtown, which hasn't existed for 25 years. There's been no apartments in our downtown. Housing on Portage Avenue, okay, in the old Avenue building, the new hotel and a company such as Stantec coming downtown. It's on and on. I'm telling you now that everybody I talk to, they are pumped.
Yeah.
They are excited. They're like proud to be Winnipeggers,
Yeah.
and they're sticking their chests out, okay? And just, you know, I'm ecstatic. I mean, there are probably some people maybe a little happier than me, but not many that are happy with me about the return of the Jets. This was all happening in spite of, you know, before the Jets were
Right.
even announced,
Yeah.
et cetera, didn't even know what was happening. But what you have to understand, and here's the best part that excites me, I've got young people sending me emails or texts who left Winnipeg, who are so excited what's going on, they're coming back.
Yeah,
They're coming back.
ready to come back.
Okay, now, add that to last October, Winnipeg was voted the top city in Canada to invest in.
Right.
Just recently, a report was released where I think number 3 as far as the economy is concerned. I mean, we're going on all cylinders right now,
Yeah.
and we intend to keep it going. Rejuvenation of Portage Avenue, Main Street, the whole shed with Center Venture, and housing at a big rate. We're holding the price on houses is still really good, setting records for building. I mean, it's happening everywhere.
Yeah. Well, and there's the condo, like Qualico's got a huge condo development going on.
Housing,
you know.
the majority, if you look where the biggest percentage of increase in housing is right now, it's in our downtown.
Yeah.
That's just a fact. Okay, that's a statistic. You know, and you know, some people, you know, if you want to give credit, there's no one individual. Okay, it's not the mayor, it's not council. We're all part of this success story.
Yeah.
And we got to keep on working together. And we don't want to stop right now. We got a long way to go, so let's keep going.
Well, and I've talked about this in Marketplace, which is our business publication that we do with the Asper School of Business, that you just see there's this core group, and I've said this over and over again, there's this sort of core group of 32 to 40-year-olds, 35 to 40-year-olds that are in business, and they want to live downtown, they want a vibrant city, but they're starting to move into, because the baby boomers are retiring, like there's this turnover happening.
Yeah.
And at the same time that this turnover is happening, where we've got this amazing talent coming out of our universities and things like that happening, we've also got the development going on, and then the expansion of the convention center, to me, you know, may not be politically correct, but it's a no-brainer. I mean, you fall behind as a city if you don't have a great place to hold conventions. And you got the Canadian Museum for Human Rights coming, estimated 300,000 people a year. I talk to people at the convention center who say they're booking, because of the Human Rights Museum, they're already booking conferences and events and things like that, but we're out of space.
And doesn't it logically just follow that in order to pay for the expansion of the convention center, take it out of a hotel tax, because the convention center creates occupancy? I mean, that's what it's all about. It's so obvious. You know, I only wish that, you know, all levels of government could see the same light when it comes to the gas tax paying for our roads and our bridges. We're not there yet, but I'm working on that. So, yeah, no, I mean, everything you've said is 100% accurate. And I'll tell you something else, which I found rather interesting. We talk about, you know, we mentioned Stantec coming downtown.
Yeah.
And what they have found is they have a lot of young professionals that want to come work there. Young professionals want to live downtown, and they want to rent. They don't want to be tied down, because they'll change job careers at least minimum 6 times, I think.
Yeah, every 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, okay,
it's like
minimum.
yeah.
So that's what they're looking for, which means even though, we've increased the amount of housing by 1/3 in our downtown, we got to keep that going because we do have a long way to go.
Yeah.
But boy, things are moving in the right direction.
Yeah, well, and we've been talking about that, and we hope that it sort of continues. I think it will. There's it's just a lot of excitement going on, so it's nice to see, and talking to some people that are in Toronto who all of a sudden those eyeballs are looking at Winnipeg that prior to a year or 2 years ago, you would talk to them, they would just say, Toronto ends and then Calgary starts. Manitoba, Saskatchewan.
Not anymore, baby.
No,
those days are long gone. Yeah. Thank God.
The heartland of the country is starting to come alive. So it's Saskatchewan as well. So
I like that. We say the heart of the continent, but I like the way you put it.
Heartland of the country. Well, I'm going to trademark that one. It probably already is. Okay, let's wrap up with. So yesterday was sort of final council session for summer. On a bit of a break. What are some of the things I will go forward in September? What are some of the priorities that you've got set, maybe that you want to keep marching forward on?
Well, first of all, don't think for a moment. When they say prorogue, which is a word probably most people don't ever use in their day-to-day language.
Didn't Harper prorogue?
Yes. Yeah.
That's where they'll hear it from.
What that means is we have no official committee meetings.
Right.
We're still working, so we're preparing a lot of stuff. I mean, we want, first of all, I want to continue on our downtown. I want to get more housing downtown. I want to continue that and seeing a lot of that done. We also have to deal with some challenges we have, and I think right now, I think when something bad is happening and we have some issues with the gangs, we're dealing with that. And I think what we put into place in the last week or so is definitely working. We've taken our existing resources and moved them all into the gang unit, the street crime unit, and as you can see, the last little while has been pretty good. And the last gang, shall we say, crime that took place, we arrested the people the men and women of the WPS, not me and you,
right.
Within 4 or 5 hours because
Yeah.
they were there ready for them. So, they know what they're doing. We just give them the tools, and we're going to continue to do that, and we have to do that because crime is an issue,
Yeah.
and infrastructure is an issue, and we're also going to start planning because right now this is the time of the capital budget, and as you know, we do have infrastructure challenges, so we're going to try and figure out a way to deal with some of those infrastructure challenges, the council as a whole. So there's no shortage
Lots
of
work
work
to
to be done. Trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me.
I was going to go back to our downtown conversation. Is that will be the caveat of people continuing and the development continuing is people saying it's got to be safe and it's got to be clean and that's what you got to balance keep it clean, keep it safe, and keep the development coming forward.
Yeah, and that's comprised with small developments as well as large developments. But to me, the key component is housing, and housing. Because when there's people, it's safe.
Yeah.
End of story. That's how it works. And so that's one of our key focuses. And we actually talked about that on the floor of council yesterday when there was, a report for housing that came out, and obviously one of the focuses was downtown.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned this the other day with the premier that, I was just in Hong Kong last week, large, 15, 16 million people, but I walk out of my hotel and you look around and it's just people everywhere. Now, that's 15 or 16 million people.
High density is the key.
It's the density.
High density,
It's the density. And when you get that going, the retail comes, the restaurants come, things like that come because that's where the people are.
I'll tell you what I'm really looking forward to is I can hardly wait till they put up an expression of interest for Polo Park once the new football stadium is complete. And I'm really excited to see what comes out of that because I think that's a great area for residential. And
well, and you've said that.
Oh yeah, that's what I want it to be.
Yeah.
It's the perfect area to live, work, and play, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, no, that's good. Okay, well, we have to wrap up because I don't want people to turn us off.
I hate when it ends.
So thank you very much for
letting
us come in every month, and we will take August as a break.
Are you going to get a little R&R?
I will get no R&R. I have a travel schedule that I'm not looking forward to myself. But and it's all business, but that's okay. And
You got to take a little time to smell the roses. You know that, right?
well, I actually
I may put a phone call into your significant other, and
I have my weekends have been scheduled,
okay.
and we've been very lucky. We have friends who have cottages, so
isn't that a great thing to have friends who have cottages?
oh, I love it. And then when they have extra space, my two boys are in heaven. They just every weekend they think they're going to someone else's cottage.
Enjoy, because you know what? I'm taking Leah and the kids for 1 week.
Yeah.
Out to Lake Country.
Yeah, you gotta. It is beautiful when you're out there. It's amazing how you're driving along and you just feel everything kind of shedding away, and it's great. So I will get a little bit of time.
With the phone and emails. I don't know if that shedding actually happens.
Well, and with MTS and Rogers, I'll plug them both. Now 3G across the province.
Right across.
I was out at the cottage, at someone's cottage out by past Lake of the Woods last weekend, and last year no cell reception. This year full cell reception. So Lisa wasn't exactly ecstatic at that, but that's okay. I digress. We will see you in September.
Look forward to it.
And rehash that, and that will be our last one, probably before the official return of the Jets.
You know what?
Because October 9th
Right.
is Sunday, October 9th, 4 p.m.
The home opener.
This city, I think, is going to be a neat place to be downtown that day.
It's going to be absolutely insane.
And somebody
in
reminded
a very
me,
positive way.
somebody reminded me that it's Thanksgiving Sunday.
Yes.
So the following day is a holiday. So the revelers will be reveling, I can just imagine. So anyway, have a great summer.
Thank you.
We will see you in September. And we will see you back in September with our next update with the mayor. I'm Glenn Tinley with Winnipeg Men and Women magazine. We'll talk to you in September.